Eurovision fam, are you ready for the show? Hey Eurovision fam, it is Alesia Michelle and I'm excited because I am not alone today and I am joined by Sweden's representative for Eurovision 2022. It's Cornelia Jakobs and she's on a brand new show. New for some people in Sweden, but not new kind of for us American folks, which I'm not used to that. I'm used to trying to kind of explain to Americans what's happening with Eurovision. I'm sort of used to talking about all the great things that are kind of happening on television in Europe. But now you've got one of our shows basically. So the show is called Songland. It's on SVT.
SVT, exact.
Okay, SVT is doing the show. Can you just tell me, what was it like when you heard about the show? Were you instantly I want to do this? Or was it kind of okay, what is this show all about?
Yeah, exactly. It was, I didn't know what it was about before. I hadn't seen the American version. And we were, the plan was to not do anything else than complete the album this spring. But then Johannes, my PR guy, told me about the show and said that it's about songwriting. And I was like, what? Because we don't have a show in Sweden about songwriting and the process before a song gets out in the on all the platforms, which is a process that I spend a lot of my time in that process. So I think it's time to have a show that shows a bit of that, even though it's going to be tiny pieces because it's kind of a huge process. In time wise, and everything is going to fit into this little show, but you'll get a sneak peek of how a song, what is happening in a session, or all the steps before a song comes out, and
Yeah, not to downplay the American music market, but I do feel like there's something interesting about a show like this in Sweden because the music scene in Sweden is so amazing. It obviously is internationally, renowned. So many people are coming to Sweden to kind of see how that process goes down. So as someone who is in that scene already, what do you think is sort of in the sauce in Sweden that just makes making music there somehow far more successful? I don't know, y'all got the secret sauce, the dash of something in there. That everyone is okay, everyone from different countries is yeah, Swedish production. What do you think makes it so special?
Exactly, it's it's in our smorgasbord or whatever we have in Sweden. I don't know, but I have been thinking about this and talking about it with some others because it's kind of strange since we're such a small country, and we are, I think we're the third biggest export in music business, which is just crazy. And I think it might be a combo of, firstly, that we have so much darkness, that the winter is so long and cold. And if you have something that you like to do, you do that a lot when it's winter, because it's no use in being outside because it's just too dark and too cold and fucking depressing. So you go into a basement and you just play with your band, or you do so we have a lot of time inside, and I feel that difference when I come to California or something. I want to be outside because it's so beautiful and sunny, but in Sweden it's 9 months of the year you just want to be inside. I think that's one side to it. But also that we haven't been Sweden as a country haven't been in crisis, big crisis for a very long time. So I think that we have a lot of the middle class is quite stable, which gives room for more creativity because you don't have to fight for your survival. It's more what do you want to do, and most parents have the resources to help the kids when they're sitting in the basement and not making a dime for many years. It's not the end of the world because we have a lot of stability here in the society, I guess. So we feel kind of I think that it's a lot to that we feel kind of safe, even though we're going a very unsafe road, because music business is very unsafe, because you never know if you have a job next week or even the next day, and you can work on something for a long time and you don't know if you will ever get paid for it, which is very like, it doesn't fit everyone. If you want to have like a safe situation, it's not the way to go. So yeah, a combo of that, and also that Swedish school is very like generous with like, you want to play something, we have a thing after school that you can go and it's for free, and you know, you can borrow the guitar for like 50 crowns a week. It's like, I don't know what we call that, but we have a lot of good like stuff like that. I think it's a combo of that, maybe, or the water, who knows.
Okay, yeah, it might be in the water, might be in the ice, might be in the air, might be in the darkness, but clearly Sweden has some type of special sauce when it comes to producing music. And it's interesting that you talk about that, because actually one of the songs at Eurovision this year, it's all about kind of, well, and I shouldn't say all about, it's sort of winking and a little bit secretly about sort of the struggles that a lot of songwriters might face. And I think interesting for you and your journey. So I know you were in a girl group, you were also on Swedish Idol at one point in audition. What's it like kind of now being in the judges seat as someone who has been sort of on the other side of that experience?
I think I don't really see it as like that I'm in the judges seat, but I see how you mean. But because it's so much about just smak, what's that, like taste, like musical taste, and like everyone can write songs. It's just and everyone writes songs in different ways. It's very like fluent structure wise, and you can just do whatever you like, and then it's up to whether you like it or not. That's so much about taste and everything. But I definitely appreciate a lot to be able to be in this chair where I get presented songs and we can work. It was a very like developing process, and very interesting, and actually kind of outside of my comfort zone, because I usually write everything from scratch, and then you take the roads, all those steps, and now something is presented, and I'm gonna like turn that into something that I can be able to stand for and everything. Yeah.
So when you kind of look at the show, so in the United States, this show, they had Esther Dean, who's actually one of my like favorite songwriters, that she's produced with tons of folks, and even produced a song for Loreen, technically her like Eurovision follow-up track, We Got the Power.
Ooh, I love that song.
Yeah,
Oh.
so Esther Dean was one of the judges on Songland here in the United States. And so kind of pivoting, because I kind of live in a little bit of a Eurovision Melody Festival and world, and it's a lovely world.
I love that word. It's amazing.
Lovely world to be a part of. Do you feel like any of the songs that you kind of heard here, even if you didn't sing it, but maybe someone else was like, do you feel like we've got some potential future, Thomas Gayson, future, big heavy hitter, the Debs, any future songwriters that we might see pop up in the songwriting credits for Melfest?
From the songwriters in Songland? I definitely think so. I know that there's different backgrounds to all the songwriters. So some of them have been writing more, and some are very new. But I would say that a very big egenskap for that. What? Yeah, like a big talent that is very good to have as a songwriter, if you're writing to others, is to be a good listener, and like to be good at like noticing what the artist wants, because that's gonna be it's very whoa. It's important that the artist feel like it's a feel for the song, which is a big you have to be good at like cooperating, and of course be good at writing. But it's so much about like feeling good in the room and making the artist feel comfortable, and in the end it's going to be the artist that chooses if he or she or the non-binary wants to release it, and it's always going to come up to that, because so that's a very like important, and a lot of them have that. That was my point. It's good to be like emotionally, what do you say? Yeah, listening.
Yeah, and I think what you're saying is it's like, because so I'm a mom, and so it's I think some people who are songwriters, when they think of their creations, it's and I would say in my regular work, just working in like sort of digital communications, we have the joke of you can't act like your projects are your babies because they're not. You can nurture them like that, but at some point you have to kind of let them go.
Like,
And
yeah.
then the joke is, even as a parent, you have to recognize that your child grows and evolves and then becomes an
Mm.
adult. So you can't hold on to them like it's your baby and you want to keep it for forever. Do you feel like that can be challenging for some creatives at first to sort of get used to the idea of like, well, I wrote this thing, I nurtured it, it's so perfect, it's
Yeah.
amazing, and then you give it away and then it's like, wait, hold on, no, wait.
Mm.
Do you think that that's like a hard shift or challenge for some songwriters?
Yeah, definitely. I totally understand and like recognize that, like that situation. And I think it's, yeah, that's pretty much what I'm talking about too. That it's important to not, if everyone in the room feel like it's their baby, then it's never gonna be something, because you have to like chip in from all the, and like be fluent. So yeah, definitely, it's very important to not be like holding on to your own ideas like they were your child, because then it's going to be a short career in the songwriting world, I would say, unless you
Right.
just want to write on your own and only write to yourself. Then it's
True.
all good, you can just do babies and just keep them.
No, that's true. So I want to kind of shift gears a little bit. And I mean, this time last year, you were gearing up to go to Italy, you had your rehearsals and everything, and you were preparing for that experience. You came out, you toured, you came out with some new music. You have been very busy in the
Yeah,
past in the
I'm glad
past
you
year.
noticed.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you've been very busy. I mean, what would you say really of this last year has been like the biggest highlight for you? And maybe the biggest highlight, and then maybe a thing that people you would say was an unexpected highlight of the past year.
Hmm. I mean, first highlight is definitely Eurovision, because I've never had that much fun in my life. It's like the most crazy, hysteric, but like sparkling and just feel good weeks of my life. And I was very happy that I enjoyed it that much, because sometimes you never know before how much you're going to be like just stressed and just being anxious all the time, or if you're going to be able to enjoy it. And I really was, which is like maybe thanks to the stars or whatever, you never know. So I'm just very happy that I was able to really soak everything in, and be there like emotionally, and enjoy everything. So that was definitely, of course, the biggest highlight. And then an unexpected one.
Like something that maybe, because I think people will think, well, obviously, like
Oh,
Eurovision was your highlight, but
mm,
maybe something like you perform, or like you got to reconnect with maybe like an old school teacher because
mm,
or
mm,
something like that, or
yeah,
maybe you got to meet someone that maybe you never thought you'd ever
uh,
meet, but because of just the momentum and
mm,
pattern of like
mm,
Melfest and whatnot, or yeah,
yeah.
or maybe an unexpected trip, like kind of like, oh, and I actually got to go here, something like, yeah.
Yeah, I see. It was good that you're like putting me in the right direction, because I was kind of stuck. Yeah, definitely. I think the one thing that I didn't really know before, or like I couldn't really see it coming, was the connection that you can feel with like with music. I mean, I knew that, but still, this was in another way. Like the first pre-Eurovision party that I did was in London, and people came from like all parts of the world and said kind of the same thing. They were like, "Why did you have to write a song about my life and my heartbreak? It's unfair." And I was like, "Oh, and you, what you?" And like, it doesn't matter where you're from, or like if you're gay or straight or whatever, or you can like a heartbreak feels the same wherever you come from, and whoever you are. And that's the very I was very like touched by that, because it was so like specific, one specific feeling, and it was so much connection in between all the countries and everything with a song, and that was to me like I was really touched by that many times. So that was a cool
Well, I
thing.
love that. I think that's key. And the theme or slogan for Eurovision this year is "United by Music," and I think that that's true. Well, I don't want to take up too much of your time, but I got to say, normally when I talk to former Eurovision participants and whatnot, I kind of ask like, "Oh, well, have you talked to the person who's representing your country this year? Did you give them any advice?" But y'all got Loreen, so she's a pro.
I don't know
She's
to give her
like,
any advice.
I'm like, she's like just gonna be up there. But I guess, have you connected with her since the win? Yeah, how is Sweden feeling? Do they feel, are y'all feel, or I should say not they, do y'all feel like y'all are ready to host again? Are you feeling like there's a win in the water this year?
Absolutely, absolutely. I think we're all very excited, and we all. I mean, it's amazing that it's like 10 years since she did Euphoria, so it's kind of a universally. I can't speak today. I'm sorry. Like a anniversary to this year. Um, yeah, it's been bubbling, and I think we're definitely ready to host again. But I didn't have to give her any advice, like you said. She's doing well by her own, and I haven't spoken to her since the final, but we have been we have been talking before. She was actually singing one of I wrote a song. That she was about to release, but then it didn't go like that. But we have been working in this studio for many years ago.
I hope people tune into Songland, because I actually would love if y'all's version of Songland was broadcast in the United States, because I think everyone is curious, just what is in the sauce in Sweden. Well, thank you so much for speaking with me today. Best of luck on this show and all of your upcoming endeavors.
Thank you so much. You're so lovely. Thank you for your time. And take care. Hope you're gonna like the program tonight.